All right, so the first two questions on your test are your formulas that you need to know. So formula for slope, y2 minus y1, and then what comes next? Good, so over x2 minus x1. It looks complicated with all the ones and twos, but you're subtracting. You just subtract y, subtract x, and then you can put it in the calculator. So you always have that as a resource. All right, and then what's your slope-intercept form of an equation? We just reviewed it with our Desmos activity. Yep, good. Y equals mx plus b. M is the what? Slope. B is right. Perfect. Okay, that's like your starting point. So what is the slope of this line? You're going to count the little boxes. So count how much down and how much over. What is your slope for that one? Good. And it is negative because it's going downwards. So like if it was a multiple choice question and some of the choices were positive, you could eliminate them. All right, draw a line that has a zero slope and then identify any 2 points that could be on the line. Lines go on forever, so there's an infinite number of points. I'm just asking you to pick two, but here is the point of the question. Which way is a zero slope? It's horizontal, it's gonna be this way, okay? So draw a line with a zero slope. I didn't specify where, so you can draw it wherever you want. I'm gonna draw mine right here. But it didn't say where, so technically you can draw yours anywhere you want, but it does have to be horizontal. And then all I'm asking you for is 2 points that are on the line. So for mine, because I drew it at 2, what's an example of a point that's on that line? Yeah, -3, 2, or -7, 2, or 0, 2, or 5, 2, anything, comma 2. If you drew yours somewhere else, like say you drew yours up here at 5, then you could do 0, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, wherever you chose to draw it. On the axis? Then you could do 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0. I kind of recommend against that because it does confuse people when it's 0. So I recommend putting it somewhere else, but it's up to you. All right, graph the line with a slope of 1/4 through this point. What quadrant is this point going to be in? 3. Good. -3, -2 would be right there. And then your slope is 1/4. So from that point, you're going to go up 1 over 4. And how many points have I told you guys to put? All of them, right? As many as will fit, okay? If it fits on the grid, I want you to put it. Because if you can count to 4, you can do it. So work with me. And you guys have been good about this, but please connect them. I do have to take off if you don't connect them because that's not a line. That's just a bunch of random points.
It's not even the right way. The other way down one.
It's 1/4, so up 1 over 4. Here, I'll draw in the triangle for you. No, that's just the point where you start. So -3, -2 is this point right here. So that's where we started. And then your slope is telling you to go from that starting point, go up 1, right 4. All right, this one's multiple choice. We're going to use our test taking strategies to eliminate some choices. We want a slope that's undefined. So which 2 can you narrow it down to? Undefined. Okay, we're going to get rid of those ones. Okay, so it's not going to be those 2. Gotcha. We communicated. So undefined would be one of these, G or H. So, and you were saying like A, and you can get rid of those ones. Okay. Then it says it goes through the point 1, -2. Now I don't have a better explanation than, hey guys, look at this. All right. 1, -2. Oh, good. You said the answer already. 1, -2 is this point, and that's on line H. So H or C as in coconut is your answer. So we actually did everything on that page. I need to skip a couple to leave some for you guys. I feel like 7 you could do on your own. Let's go down to 8. Because there was one just like that on the quiz and you guys all did well on it. So let's go down to number 8. I need to skip a few so that you guys have a few to try. So what is the slope? You're going to label your points if you want to do that. X, Y, X, Y. This is 1s, this is 2s. And then you're going to use your formula. Now I'll write it on the board so you don't have to flip your paper over. Which two numbers are we going to subtract first?
11.
Good. 11 minus 5. Go ahead. Good. Why is it plus, everybody? Yep. Minus and negative. They're going to cancel. So that's going to give you 6/5. Does that reduce? No. But again, you could always use the calculator. Number 9 is the same question. It's just there's words to read there. So you're on a hiking trail, beginning at certain coordinates and ending at other coordinates. So you're going to do the exact same thing. Which two are the Y numbers? Because we're going to subtract those first. Yep, good. So we'll have 8 minus 2. And then it would be 7 plus 3. Very good. So here, let's try and do it without a calculator. What would you have in the numerator? 6, good. You get a calculator, but I'm just trying to get you to do it without it. All right, and then over 7 plus 3 would be 10. Does that one reduce? Yes, they'll both divide by 2. So if you divide by 2, it'll be 3/5. Good job. Cool. All right, number 10. We're going to use our calculator. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and type that in. 4x minus y equals 7. You guys all see it okay up here? Now we want it in slope-intercept form, which is this. So the first thing we need is the slope. You're going to have to find 2 pretty points, numbers that are on like a nice, perfect coordinate so that you can count. Oh, look, do you see one right here? See what I'm talking about? Okay, so let's see how much up and over we go until we find, oh, here's another one. I can barely make it fit. Do you see this other one right here? Okay, so we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over 1. Okay, so what is our slope? 4. Good. So y equals 4x. We went up 4 over 1. And then I'll share again. We need the y-intercept. So let me just go down here. Oh, it's all the way down there. All right, what's our y-intercept? Do you see that there? -7? Go ahead.
Would you mark it wrong and put 4/6?
Oh, absolutely not. That is the correct answer. Check if that one works. You do a scribble and see if that works. Good. Okay. So it was -7. And I just found that I looked at the graph. I saw it intersected at 0, -7. So when you go to graph that, you would start at that -7, which is like almost off the grid, but not quite. And then go up 4 over 1. And again, put as many points as you can fit. And some of you are good at doing that like split screen thing. You can bring up one screen that is the calculator. And then, well, I guess it'll be on paper, but if you compare that, the point I was trying to make is if you compare that to what's on the calculator screen, it should look the same. I'm going to skip number 11, leave that one for you guys. But let's talk through how you would do that. It's which one of these, and it could be more than one, circle all that apply, has a y-intercept at 0, -1. What would you do? You would type them in one by one and see if it touches 0, -1. I just believe you could do that. Okay, you could type it in the calculator. So we'll leave that for right now. Yeah, well, let me do 12. We'll do 12 as well because that won't take long. All right, so I'm going to come over here, type that in. What is it? 4x minus 10y equals 20. Now, I mean, I get that I am typing it in the calculator, but you still have to know what an intercept is and how to write it. What's your x-intercept? Do you see it on here? Yeah, you have to know which part of the graph. Now it's specifically 5, 0. All right, so your x-intercept is 5, 0, and your y-intercept is 0, -2. So yeah, you're using the calculator as a resource, but you still have to know, what part of the graph to look at. And yes, we'll do 13. So it's going to be y equals mx plus b. So go ahead and put your y equals, and you have to figure out the slope. That's counting the little boxes. So how much up and how much over does it go? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. It seems like we've got a pretty point there and a pretty point there. Sometimes they're hard to find. You got to really look for it. So I heard somebody say 3/5 or 3/4. 3/5. Good, we figured it out. You can draw in the little triangles. So y equals 3/5x. Thank you for helping me out there. Oh, good. Why is it -4? That's your y-intercept. Good job. You guys are doing awesome. We're halfway through it already. See how easy this is when you're all listening to me? Awesome. All right, you are pouring water out of a 24-ounce bottle at 3 ounces per second. We're going to draw a graph to represent it. So you're going to start at 24 ounces. So that's your y-intercept. Go and put a point there at 24. And your rate is 3 ounces per second. Do you remember us having a long conversation about the word per something else? That's your slope. Now, if you're pouring it out at 3 ounces per second, it's going to be -3 because you're ending up with, you guys have poured a drink out of a bottle before. You understand what I'm talking about? Do you have an imagination? You see what I'm talking about? Evan, go ahead.
So when I heard the question, I thought it meant how much the cup is gaining.
No, it's how much you're pouring out of a bottle. Okay. So you're going to go down 3/1. Keep going down 3/1. Hey, would anyone like to predict how many seconds do you think are going to go by for the bottle to be empty? So you poured it all out. Like, when do you think we're going to run into 0 here? At 8 is a predict. Anyone think anything different, or do we agree with 8? I think 10 is going to go off the grid.
9.
Oh, it is 8. Do you see why it's 8 though mathematically? Do you see why it's 8 though mathematically, guys? Look at the numbers that are in the problem. How could you use those two numbers to get 8?
4.
There's not a 4 in the problem. 24 divided by 3 is 8. There, we got there. All right. We're going to do one or the other of these because they're the same type of question. Do you want to do 15 or do you want to do 16? I'll leave the other one for you because they're the same kind of thing. Go ahead.
15.
Want to do 15? Okay. It's the same type of question though. You would do it the same way. So I'm going to go over here, type in the equation, 4x minus 8y equals 16. You guys look at? Are you good with the calculator? You can type these in. All right. Slope. How much up and over does it go? Yeah, up 1/2. Do you guys see that there?
Yeah.
All right. So on your paper for slope, you're going to put 1/2. What's the next question? Intercepts. All right. What's your y-intercept? You have to know which part of the graph to look at. You got to look up here. Which part of the graph is -2? Good. And 0, -2. And then your x-intercept, go ahead.
4, 0.
4, 0. Very good. And then it says to graph the line. I'm going to stop sharing at that point. You should have written those down. But you can graph those 2 points, 0, -2, and 4, 0, and use your slope of 1/2 to just keep on going. And again, like if you can count to 2, you can do it. Just keep on putting all the points you can. I don't like asking for a minimum number of points. Just put all of them. You graph that for me, Jim? Remember us talking about care now? I'll give a pep talk since we're trying to get through the whole study guide at once without a break so we can play a game. You have to make a connection between what we're doing right now and me handing you a test. It's gonna be the same kinds of questions on the test. You got to make a connection between them. Okay? And then in slope intercept form, it's gonna be y equals, all right, what'd we say the slope was? So it'll be 1/2 x, and then good, your y-intercept is -2. The ones I'm skipping, you don't have a homework assignment before a test. I want you to go and try those, and I'm gonna fill the rest of this out and post it on Schoology, and then you can check your answers. That's like, the way you study for math is by practicing, by like doing problems. Okay? And we'll do 17, 18, and 19. The throwback ones, those are reviews. So I'm not gonna do those right here and now, but again, I'll fill them in and post this for you. So graph line y equals 4x. You can type that in the calculator, but I'm gonna guide you through doing it without it. It's really 4x plus nothing. Do you see how there's nothing else there? Just 4x? No, I said I was skipping that one. You need to do that for next time and check your answers. Okay? Do you see how it's 4x plus nothing? Are you with me there? Now we're fading out. What point does that mean you're gonna start at if it was plus nothing? When a 4 is our slope, go ahead. 0, 0. It means it didn't move up or down at all. Your y-intercept is 0. So it's the origin. And then you'll do your slope of 4. So up 4 over 1. So there's your line. Picture the marbles on the line, like the Desmos activity we did. Now, if you want that to move down 3, and this is why we practice that on Desmos, so you can play around with the lines and see how you change them. What do you need to change about this equation to make it go down 3? You guys just did it as practice, not like 20 minutes ago.
Down 4.
Well, you want to go down 3, so y equals -3. Good. Y equals 4x minus 3. You don't need to change the slope. That would change the steepness of it. You just want to move it down 3. Okay, that was a little shaky, so let me do a follow-up. What if you wanted it to go up 7? Then what would you do? Plus 7. Good. Okay, so plus is up, minus is down. So for this one, you want to take this equation, move it 6 units up. So all you're going to do is add 6. Up 6, you're going to put plus 6. So what's the new equation? Good job. -1 plus 6 will give you plus 5. And then this last one here. We have a line that's graphed over here. We want to put 2 points. You can put more than that if you want. For moving it down 3. Do you see the -3?
Yeah.
Down 3. All you need to do is find a pretty point, like see, I see one right here, and then go down 3. And then just do that a couple of times, like find another pretty point and then just go down 3. 1, 2, 3. And just do at least 2 of them. So like, here's another one. After that, we would be off the grid. But what that is intended to simulate is on the SOL, they will sometimes give you a graph and have you click on point. Are you still with me back there?
Yeah.
Okay. They will have you click on the grid where the points are supposed to go. So that's what that's supposed to simulate.